We're back on the Chef and You and I with Karen Schaefer from Schaefer Farm and Bed and Breakfast, and we cut up all the vegetables, right?
Yes.
First, and now what are we doing?
I put olive oil and just heated it up for a few minutes.
Right.
And then dumped all the vegetables in and putting a little bit of salt and a little bit of ground pepper.
Right.
And then we're just going to let it cook.
Now, we didn't put any garlic in this because of me, right?
That's right.
Now, if you wanted to add garlic later to it, could you? Hard.
If you sauteed it, I guess you could, but it's the flavor wouldn't get into the rest of the vegetables.
Do you know, I use, believe this or not, lemon and pepper and other things to, and there's another spice out there that's instead of garlic, it's more like an onion kind of thing that I add into mine. Mm-hmm. But we're going to add the garlic into, no, we're not going to add the garlic into it, but when we give the recipe out, if that's all right with you, we'll put the garlic in it, and it's optional.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people. Now, we can let that rest for just a little while, can't we?
Yes.
How long is that going to steam, Karen?
Probably 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yes.
Till it gets a little bit
tender.
Okay,
yes.
So are you going to put a lid on it or not?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a lid over here, and yes. I love, how long have you had your iron cast skillets?
Well, some of them are from my family, the Krause family. This one here came from my parents' camp. You see how shiny the bottom is and how well seasoned it is.
Now, let me ask you a question. How long does it take to season when you first get one?
Not really that long. If you take it and heat it up, or what you can do is put it in the oven at about 200 degrees, get it warm, and then dump the oil in it, and then just take a paper towel and rub it on the outside and in here and get it real oily, then put it back in there for like 45 minutes.
And it really
does. And then
does.
just leave it sit overnight, shut it off, and leave it sit in there overnight.
Now, how do you clean them, Karen? That's really important.
You don't ever use soap in them. You'll ruin them if you use soap on them.
Okay.
This is what I use, is this stainless steel. It's like a Brillo, but it's just stainless steel.
Right.
Curly stainless steel, it's called.
And then do you heat it after you've done that? So it's...
when you clean it, if you've got something stuck to the bottom, you put some water in it and just set it on low on your stove and let that water just kind of loosen everything up, and then take it over and scrub it out with this.
And that's it.
And that's it. And then always just took a little bit of oil in there again with a paper towel, and that's it.
And that's how you keep them conditioned.
Yes.
Smart idea. And you've been using these for how long, Karen?
20,
forever?
Yes.
20 years.
20 years or longer.
Right. And they have such great seasoning in them, so everything tastes much better.
Yes.
Now, we're going to let that rest for a minute. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to go over and you're going to teach me how to cube the venison, correct? Which is your meat. Now, when did you get that? Now, how long have you had how long can you keep venison in the freezer?
Probably, it depends on how you wrap it, but if you wrap it really well, or you use one of those food savers that takes the air out, I have never had any problem. 2 years, even more, but usually around 2 years if you wrap it twice in a paper.
And you freeze it. You freeze it.
Yes.
So how much do you think that you have you use a lot of venison?
Yes.
Okay. Is that your main meat, really?
Yes. Yes.
And you like that a lot?
Yes.
Have you ever had it in a sausage?
Yes.
And
I've
it's
had
really
it in a
delicious.
summer sausage.
Summer sausage. Okay, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back, and we're going to learn how to cube venison. Okay? We're back on the Chef You and I with Karen Schaefer of Schaefer Farm and Bed and Breakfast in Sunman, Indiana. I forgot to mention that. Do you want to give your phone number out? That would be important.
Yes, 812-623-3292.
And do you have a website?
Yes, it's schaefersbb.info.
.info. Okay, now I want to show this, Karen, if you don't mind. Now this has already been cubed. Would you still cube this again?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. So now tell me what to do.
See how the teeth move on this? So you're moving it this way. So when you set it there,
I set it there,
and it just grabs it.
It grabs it. Awesome.
And
this is how they make cube steak.
Yes, and you can just run it back and forth. And the more you do that, the tenderer it becomes. That's why they call it a meat tenderizer.
Good idea. So let's do a piece. Let me try doing this.
Okay.
One piece that hasn't been done, if you could focus in on that. Now, you do this every year, right?
Yes.
Now, how often, Karen, do you... Oh, this is so simple.
Yeah,
wow.
It won't fall. And then you just right there, then just go back.
Start back and forth. Wow, this is cool. I like this.
And then let it come out all the way this time.
Okay.
And then turn it in the opposite direction of what you've already cubed, and that makes it more tender.
Oh, really?
So a lot of times with this is venison, but with beef, round steak is a very tough meat. And this would be something you would do with a round steak if you want it to be nice and tender.
Okay, so is that good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's put it there. So now, these you did this morning, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is simple. And then if you wanted to do it the other way, you go like this, right?
Yes, you just turn it in the opposite direction.
Oh, wow. Because there's a lot of meat out there that is really tough.
Yes, instead of buying expensive cuts of meat, you can buy the lower end, which are good, which is actually very good meat. It's just...
Now, let me ask you a question, Karen. Did you grow up on a farm?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Oh.
We went to like an uncle's farm. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so we were heavy into the deer hunting, but my one uncle had a farm which my father took us to.
Oh, wow.
And basically
so now these are all, are they, can I do this a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I'd like to get one of these. These are so fun. Well, I used to do a lot of cube beef. And I use olive oil all the time in my recipes because we're a healthy cooking show, so it's really important that you use the right kind of thing. And I can tell that you're in good shape. Tell me how you keep your perfect shape.
I swim, I bike, and I lift weights. I rollerblade.
Oh my gosh.
Ride horses.
Oh my gosh.
Mostly biking, lifting, and swimming.
Now, this is going to feed how many people, Karen?
This is probably going to make 3 to 4 cube steak hoagies. Okay,
hoagies.
Good size hoagies.
Now, how did you learn how to make this? This sounds so fun. I've never...
Just experimenting.
On deer, right?
Yes.
Well, the first time I had deer, it was really funny. My aunt married an eye doctor that was a big hunter. And he... What happened there? I'm sorry. Excuse me. I didn't mean to do that. Hello. And do you ever make stew out of this?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of things do you usually make?
I make chili. I make a really good barley soup.
Now, what are we going to do now with these beautiful venison steaks? What are we going to do with this?
We're just going to salt and pepper them a little bit. Get the cast iron skillet a little warm with olive oil. Also, I've used coconut oil. Either one, they're really good.
That sounds good.
We're going to do coconut oil today.
Now, are you going to use onions in this or not?
The onions and peppers are going to be in a separate skillet sautéing, which we haven't done yet.
Now, when we make the actual hoagie, what are you going to put on it?
I'm going to put an olive oil mayonnaise, just a thin layer of that. Then homemade hot mustard that I have.
Oh, you make homemade mustard? You have to tell us about that. Okay.
And then we put the meat on.
How long does the meat take to actually...
Probably about 3 or 4 minutes on each side. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's
because
fast.
you've cubed it and it's thin.
Right.
And you don't want it to dry out because deer meat is already there's no fat in it.
Right.
So you don't want to cook it too long or it'll just be dried up.
Right. And now we have to take a short break, and in the meantime, we're going to go heat the skillet up, and we're going to make it happen. Give your website out again and your phone number.
It's schaefersbb.info, and it's 812-623-3292.
And we'll be right back on Kathryn Raaker's The Chef You and I.